Welcome back to Liftoff with Jeanniey Walden. I'm your host, Jeanniey Walden. I created Liftoff so that people like you and me could get the information we need to make the most of our personal and professional lives. I call it work-life blend. So let's have some fun. And I'm going to bet you learn at least 3 new things you didn't know before you tuned in today. So who's in? You better be in because we are so excited to welcome our next guest on Liftoff. I cannot believe the words coming out of my mouth. The one, the only, Jay Leno. Jay recently appeared at the Bergen Performing Arts Center in Englewood, New Jersey. Jay participated in the festivities by attending the private reception at Benzel-Busch Mercedes-Benz dealership and drove the AMG EQS sedan to cut the ribbon at Bergen Pack before his 8 p.m. performance. Sadly, I wasn't able to make the event, but Jay was kind enough to meet with us for the show. I am beyond thrilled to welcome Jay Leno to Liftoff.
Thank you. Thanks for taking the time.
For all those entrepreneurs out there listening, what advice do you have for them?
Well, I think you need to be open-minded. We become so less tolerant of there are plenty of people I disagree with politically that I really like as people. We just disagree politically. You know, when I started this game show, You Bet Your Life, I sold it on the premise of there'll be comedy, but no politics at all. And people seem to like that. I've done that in live shows too. When people come to my live show, it's just comedy. You know, Rodney Dangerfield and I were good friends. I knew Rodney 40 years. I have no idea who he voted for. I don't know if he's a Democrat or Republican. I don't care because we just talked about stupid jokes all the time. And we laughed all the time. And that's what's the fun part. And a lot of times I'll see, you know, somebody walk out on the game show and I go, well, I know I'm not going to agree with that guy politically, but I'm not going there. And I find out, well, he's a good father and he's a good provider and he's a nice guy. We just disagree on this issue. That's okay. It's okay to disagree with people. You know?
And like many of us who watch Liftoff, you're an entrepreneur too. As an entrepreneur, how important is work-life balance, or what I call work-life blend, and having a hobby?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's an old saying, the heart is healthiest when the hand and the head work together. So during the day, I'd work with my hands, and then at night, I'd work with my head. And one sort of balances out the other. So yeah, I think there's something to that. Because if you just concentrate on the same thing all day, it gets a bit overwhelming, I think. You know, when you can take a break and go to the next thing, then it's like being married. You work all day. Oh, then you go home to your wife at night. Oh, and you and your wife aren't together 24 hours a day. So you appreciate the time that you're apart and you appreciate the time when you're together. So yeah, I think there's something to that.
I know you love cars. What is your favorite car?
You know, I buy the story as much as I buy the car. I mean, I have a 55 Buick that I've had. It's the first car I bought when I came to California. In fact, I got off the plane and I went to the newsstand and I bought the Penny Saver, which was one of those, you know, for sale things. And I needed a car and I saw a 55 Buick, $350. I said to somebody, where's Winchester? And they said, well, it's about 6 miles from the airport. Oh, so I got in a cab. I went to Winchester thinking, I'll buy that car. Then I got there and it was okay. And I said, well, I can't afford to drive. I might as well buy this car. So I bought that car. It was a big car and I could sleep in the back seat. So that's what I did. So I lived in that for about a week or two when I got to California. I didn't really have a plan, I guess you could say. Yeah.
Final question. What are your thoughts on electric cars?
I'm a huge fan. I mean, you know, Mark Twain used to say, I like progress. It's change I don't like, you know. And there's something to that. I mean, people think it's still transportation. It's still a car. It's just the method of propulsion is different. No, I'm a huge fan. You know, steam ran everything from 1800s to 1911. From 1911 to now, it was all internal combustion engines. Now you've moved into electrics. And you'll have the other type of cars. There'll still be gasoline cars for easily the next 50 or 60 years. You know, synthetic fuels will come along. Something will come along. But at some point, you don't want the whole planet to choke to death, and you got to figure out a way around it. You know, so no, I like technology. I'm a big fan.
This was an honor. Don't go away though, because there is more to come after the break.